Hello, class. It's me, Brother Crawford. Just wanted to take a minute this week and put out a little recording here, so maybe you can see my face a little bit, and I can just talk to you instead of typing it out in an email. Um, so grateful for the opportunity for the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks to be with you and to learn from you. There's some great things happening and some great answers. I know that I've had questions in my life that through your guys' research has been answered. So thank you so much. Um, and it's just great getting to see your personalities and getting to understand and learn from you. So thank you for all that you're doing. I also wanted to take a moment. I've had some questions asked me about grading and about points and how points are awarded and different things that I want to maybe help answer and give you some tips on some places where you can get the most out of this class. Um, I know you're taking this class for school and you want a good grade, but there's so much more that we can get out of this class um, as we really get in depth and look at what the class is really all about. So I want to go through that with you. The number one thing that I'm seeing that could maybe be improved upon a little bit for some of you is the in-class sharing discussions. So I kind of just want to take a few minutes here and walk through with you what I'm seeing and things that are maybe being missed a little bit where points are being deducted that can help you get not only get a good grade that you want, but also to get more out of this class. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself to the corner here, and as you can see, I'm in our lesson 4 here, and I'm viewing this as a student, so I'm seeing what you see when you go into class. So if I'm in week 4 here, lesson 4, I'm going to go to preparation to start my week. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go to the in-class sharing preparation that I need to do for this week. So there's one of these every week. Now you're working in little groups, groups of about 10 people. So maybe it's able to get a little bit more intimate in what you're doing and answer questions and talk and discuss, which is really the point of this, is to help each other get answers and to discuss and learn from one another, which is a great benefit to myself as I've listened to you guys, if I've read the things that you've posted and researched. Some of you, there's been some great quotes and great scriptures shared and insights that I had never thought of when it comes to these different things. So there's great power in that, and that's why we kind of put you into smaller groups so that you can get a little more intimate and in detail there. But as I start this week with my in-class sharing preparation, I'm going to go in and read Moses 5:1 through 41. Now, there's some instructions here that if you're like me when I was going through school, I'd like to read through things really quick. Get right, what do I need to do? What's the minimum that I can do to get the good grade in this class? And so when we do that, sometimes we miss things. And I think that sometimes some things have been being missed as we just try to maybe get through this because we're busy. I know you're busy and you're students and have families and children, and there's so many different things going on in your life. But I want you to get the most out of this class that you possibly can. So we're going to read through this here, right? We're going to look for examples of those who receive Christ and follow prophets and establish Zion, as well as those who do the opposite, because we can learn from those who do the opposite. So I'm going to read the reading assignment for the discussion, which is Moses chapter 5, verses 1 through 41. And as I read through there, I'm going to look for some things that can help me, because I'm going to make a post that's due, and due date number 1, which is Tuesday night at 11 o'clock. Due date number 1 is always Tuesday night at 11 o'clock, and due date 2 is always on Friday at 11 o'clock. This one is due tomorrow night at 11 o'clock Idaho time. So when I go into tomorrow night or Wednesday morning, I should see at least one post from every person in there, one initial post. You're going to go into the discussion board here, and you're going to create a new thread, and you're going to share. And what you're going to share in that initial thread is two specific answers to the following question below. But here's a key. And some things that I'm missing and seeing that can really bring power to this and insight to this is to make sure that you support your answers with scriptural references and or teachings of Latter-day Prophets. Some of you are doing a great job at this. Others, there's some sharings of opinions or things that you've learned with no support, references or teachings or anything. I'm really looking for that. I want to see how much study you do, right? Can you use the scriptures to help you answer this question? And that question is, what does the negative example of Cain do to provide light concerning the gospel plan, and how does it help you better understand and appreciate the gospel and what we should believe and do? So what are some scriptures that I've read throughout the week, or maybe some quotes from Latter-day Prophets? We just listened to Prophets this weekend. Are there quotes, things that we can help, that can help answer those questions? So you're going to go in and answer that question with 2 specific answers in your first one. And then on top of that, to finish off your initial post, you're going to go in, and this one was missed quite a bit last week. I think this is the one that was missed the most, is that on top of answering this, you're also supposed to go and post one question that you would like others to respond to from this week's study of Zion or Babylon. It may be one of the ones that you post in your writing assignment that I see. But there should be an answer to the first question, to this question here, and then there should also be one question that you would like to pose to the rest of the group. That should be your initial post. I should be seeing that. Once I've posted that, now I'm going to go back up into my preparation here. I'm going to go back into the content here, and I'm going to look at my in-class sharing and look for a little bit more information on what I need to do, because there's a second part to this in-class sharing, okay? There's 2 parts to this assignment, each with a different due date. The initial thread's the one we just talked about. That's due by tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. Step 2 here is a response to posts. There are some of you, for the most part, this has been really good, and there's been things here. Missing a few things, like an additional question you have or something, but sometimes I see these posts, and there's some work that can be done here. The requirement here is to read the initial post of all the students in your group. So if there's 10 students in your group, counting you should be reading 9 posts, their initial post. And then what you're going to do is comment on one of the classmates' posts by answering the question about Cain. And you're going to use these 3 questions as your insight and to help you. What did you learn from their post? How did their insight add to what you've already learned? And what additional insight can you offer? So I should see one response from each of you to somebody else's post answering these 3 questions. So there should be 2 posts at this point. Okay, but I want to see a third post from everybody. Response to one student's question. This is the question from your study this week, right? There's one question. Look for somebody who doesn't have any responses or minimum responses and answer their question. But here's the key to this. Answering their question requires additional research. So you're going to have to go look at their question, maybe write their question down and go do some research on it, and then come back and answer their question. But I want you to include scriptural references and prophetic teachings, and make sure that you cite and reference those and explain your answer. So there should be some opinion, some of what you've learned, but there should also be some scriptural references and prophetic teachings. A lot of what I'm seeing when I'm docking points is people are going in and they are answering questions, but they're not supplying with the scriptural reference or the prophetic teaching. And there's no quotations or anything. It's just an opinion, or this is what I learned when I was in primary, or something to that effect. So we can get a lot more in depth into what we're doing. Okay, and just make sure this right really quickly that you kind of update your title of your post and that kind of stuff, so that we can kind of keep it organized and people can see who's been replied to and who hasn't. Now, so the minimum for this should be at least 3 posts. Now, I would say that there should be more than that, because if you are really involved in your discussion thread and the one that you put there and you really want to learn, you should be in discussing and talking as other people bring up insights and scriptures and that kind of stuff. How does that help you? Go in and respond. Let's have a good discussion going, and that's how we get into depth in here. I know your time's limited, but let's see if we can really get into depth, and let's see if we can do a little bit more. Now, just a last note about grading and the questions that I've had. Your grade for this assignment, as it's right down here, will be based on your quality of writing and depth of study, as well as completing all the above requirements. So I'm looking for more than just did they meet those requirements. I'm looking, is there depth? Is there quality of writing? Are they learning something? Is this really going where it should be going? That's what I'm looking for. And if it's not, I'll leave notes as I grade and feedback and that kind of stuff. But another thought about this is some of you, there's been points missed in the past. I've had people send me emails saying, well, does it really deserve an F or does it really deserve a D? Don't get so caught up on the grade. This is a long semester. There's about 1,000 points possible, where you can just really focus on the number of points that you get at the end, right? Get the most points possible. If you missed a few points, just go forward. Let's go forward, press forward, and get as many points possible, and you're going to be just fine. And if you really have concerns, I'm not perfect. I miss things. And if you really have concerns, let's have a discussion, and I'm open to talking with you. And I'll try to explain kind of where I'm at and why things are done the way they're done. But I'm really looking for depth. I've been pretty lenient on this grading wise, and going forward, I'm going to be a little bit more strict on this because I really think that there's great power in this, especially with the scriptural references and prophetic teaching. There's great power when somebody comes and asks you a question, and you can pull out the scriptures. And you can say, that's a great question, and this is not just my opinion, but listen to what Nephi says, or listen to what Paul says, or listen, better yet, what the Savior says, and it's his words. And there's great power in that. Or listen to what President Monson said about that. That's what we're trying to get to, and there's great power in that, and the Spirit really comes in strong as you're quoting these inspired divine sources that the Lord has provided for us. You're doing wonderful. Keep up the good work. I just kind of wanted to get this out, some tips that can help you out. But I'm so grateful for you, and I'm learning from you. And this has just been a great experience for me, and I look forward to the rest of the semester. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. You're wonderful. Have a great week. Hope you enjoyed conference, and we'll talk to you soon.